Hi, I'm Megan, and welcome to today's live reading of Corpse Pixie by Sinister Styx, presented by Itsy Bitsy Book Bits. Join me. Chapter 1, René. 3 days ago, I saw a body in the woods, and I haven't been the same since. The person who murdered my sister is back, and this fresh kill is the proof. I've been searching for answers for 3 fucking years with no leads, but it looks like my luck is changing. Unfortunately, I am too. Violet eyes peer into mine through the haze. Am I awake? Am I dreaming? The beads of sweat welling up on my forehead sure feel real. So does the eternal state of insatiable arousal that takes over my body when the woman visits me late at night. I want to reach up and touch her, this beauty with the pale skin and flowing dark hair, but my body is no longer under my control. I'm paralyzed at her mercy while she keeps me on the edge of release. Pleasure so intense that it is painful thrums under my skin, and then I'm flying. You look like shit, René, Delia says as she walks up to the breakfast bar where I'm nursing a cup of coffee. Did you come over just to criticize me, or are you here for something I actually give a shit about? Well, I guess it's fucking angry fucking today. Well, let's get to it. You already have information on the dead girl. I figured it would take more time. I work quickly. Now, come on, lover boy, pay up. For the first time since we started this arrangement, my body doesn't respond to Delia's advances. Instead, the memory of Violet eyes comes into my mind unbidden. How about I buy you a spa weekend instead? Sincere concern on her face, she asks, Are you okay? Yeah, it's been a few rough nights is all. I understand. I'm sorry for giving you a hard time earlier. A spa day sounds wonderful. Text me the info for the spa you want and I'll get it arranged. The dead girl they found in the woods. She's a sex worker, like Cerise and me. I'm scared, René. We lost Cerise and 2 others to this bastard. Now this girl. What if I'm next? Delia and I have no romantic interest in each other, but we're bonded over the mutual loss of my twin sister, Cerise. Secretly, I think Delia and Cerise were in love, but I've never asked and neither of them ever volunteered the information. It should bother me that Delia is probably using me as a stand-in for Cerise, even though I've gotten different equipment. But I don't have any room to talk about unhealthy coping mechanisms. I've got plenty of my own. My recent hallucinations, for instance. In all likelihood, I need to go see a therapist, but the last 3 nights have been the most alive I felt since my sister died, and I'm not ready to give up that rush. Take a vacation, Delia. Get out of town for a while. I can't. If I'm not working, I can't get access to information for you. I'm invested in finding Cerise's killer just as much as you. I'll find another way. It's not worth your life. I'll think about it, she says, scrolling through her phone. Now, I just coughed up information. Here's the spa I want. My phone pings beside me on the counter. Consider it done. Delia turns to leave. Get some sleep, René. You still look like shit. She calls over her shoulder. Not so repentant for giving me a hard time after all. So like her, covering her fear with snark and sass. After paying for her spa day and sending her the details, I finished my coffee and faced another day of being eaten alive by grief and helplessness. Chapter 2, Belladonna. For hundreds of years, I've hidden out in the woods, away from society. It began out of self-preservation, fleeing from those that hunt beings with necromantic or necromantic adjacent power. But even as times change, I found myself more at home in the wildness of nature, where death is simply part of life. Observing the cycle play out is meditation for me. I was content thinking that I put my anger from the past to rest, but then he found his way into my woods. René Corbin, human, and steeped in grief, the depth which is only felt by those who have lost someone they love. From the moment he arrived at the crime scene, he captured my attention, saving the other humans that poke and prodded the body of the dead girl I had so carefully laid out in the sacred bone circle. Someone took her life and threw her away like trash. She deserved better. The least I could do was send her off with a blessing and allow the power of the bones to record her memories. Humans have no respect for life or death, as evidenced by the dead body and the crass handling of it as the officers moved about the scene, trampling the bed of flowers I'd lain her in and unceremoniously breaking the bone circle by putting the bones in bags and tossing them in the evidence bin. The only person who gave a shit about the fact that an innocent girl was dead was René. When no one was looking, he kissed her forehead and said words over her body. Even in his crippling grief, he took the time to honor her, a complete stranger to him. And so was born my obsession with René, the human that didn't turn away from death. In the 3 days since I met René, I've left the woods more times than I can count. I've learned that he lost his twin sister and he's lost the will to do anything but practice his fighting skills and find her killer. Watching his suffering along with the incident in the woods has rekindled an idea that I can't let go of, and René is key to everything. Witnessing the exchange between René and Delia gets my hackles up. I know Delia means nothing to René outside of friendship and the connection to his sister, but she's also a distraction. It's best if she takes his suggestion to go on vacation. I've got plans for him I don't want interrupted. Like the first time I met René, I shadow him, only this time through his house, not through the woods. I know there are times he senses me because he stops and looks around and then mutters something about losing his sanity. It probably doesn't help that I give him glimpses of me while he's laced in pixie dust hazes, but he needs something to replace his grief-fueled descent into self-destruction. I have better plans for him than a slow demise through the bottles and pills. What the hell? René mutters, rummaging through the cabinet in his den. And his amused laugh escapes me, causing him to jump and look around. Looking for something? I whisper, casting an enchantment to cover up the direction it's coming from in the room. As expected, he shakes his head and says I must be losing my mind. I say nothing else, letting him continue his futile search for the liquor bottles I disposed of during the night. When he's unable to locate them, he settles for a beer, which I did not include in my purge, because I'm not completely cruel. I can't take away all his crutches at once. René, where are you? A voice calls out right after the front door slams. In the den. You missed dinner last night, the man says, walking into the room. I see you're still Mom and Dad's mouthpiece. Ah, this must be the brother Francis. René has mentioned him, but only in passing and with contempt. You look like hell, René. Have you been drinking again? You know Mom and Dad are considering rehab, right? I haven't been fucking drinking. The last few nights have been rough, it's all. Son of a bitch, Francis mutters. You went to another crime scene, didn't you? They always give you nightmares. Stop acting like you give a shit, Francis. You all moved on from Cerese's death like it was any other day. Fake tears shed and a flashy funeral to keep up appearances, but secretly you're all glad she's gone. And because I'm the only one who gave a damn about her, I'm grieving and getting flack for it. She was a whore, René, a stain on the family name. She doesn't deserve our tears or grief. Get out now. Francis turns to leave and René guzzles the rest of the beer, then tosses the can into the trash can in the corner of the room. Elbows resting on his knees, he runs his hand through his locks of blonde hair in frustration. Where are you, mystery angel? I could use a distraction right now. This is what I've been waiting for. Though his rational mind still tries to make him think he's simply hallucinating, there is a part of him that is beginning to accept me, crave me. For others, the process could take longer than a mere 3 days, but he's already susceptible because of his prolonged grief. His defenses are compromised, and he's ripe for the picking. Chapter 3, René. Francis's visit leaves me livid and sad. My family can't be bothered to give a shit about anything but their own selfishness. I drank myself into oblivion, but all of my liquor had mysteriously disappeared. I know I didn't drink it all, yet my cabinet is bare. Ever since I visited the last crime scene, I felt my grip on reality slipping. Sometimes I think I can feel my violet-eyed visitor lurking around me, but there's never anyone there when I look. And do I truly want her to be? It's frightening how I lose control of myself in her presence. But the grief is gone when she takes over, and I feel good, even if it's only temporary. Where are you, mystery angel? I could use a distraction right now. Yeah, definitely cracking up if I'm calling for an illusion. Leaving the den, I go into the bathroom. Alcohol is my primary drug, but pills work in an emergency. Between Francis's surprise visit, the ever-present grief, and my deteriorating mental state, I think this qualifies as an emergency. Bloody hell, I yell, discovering my pills are gone too. There's no way I took all of them. I'd be 6 feet under, and I can't have that until I find Cerese's killer. I promised her. Pulling out my phone, I dial Delia. Did you clean out my liquor and pills? Well, hello to you too. Did you clean out my stash? I only did that once. I'm innocent this time. Maybe your parents dumped it? Talk later, I say, hanging up. It could have been my family, but I'm not calling to find out. I should have asked Francis when he was there. Here, damn it. But I didn't think of it with him being such an asshole. I suppose I could do something constructive for a change and go for a run. Changing into clothes more suitable for exercise, I congratulate myself on making a healthier choice, even if I was inadvertently maneuvered into it. And if I happen to end up at a bar while I'm out, well, I'll consider it a reward for a good decision. After locking up the house, I set out toward the park, observing the people around me as I go. How does life keep going on like nothing happened after someone dies? Most of the time, I feel as if I'm standing still while everyone else is on fast forward. My thoughts turn to the crime scenes I've been to over the years, the things I've seen that are likely contributing to my slide into the mental breakdown. Out of all of them, only 2 others matched my sister's scene until now.